Hey there everybody, Matt Carter here.
And Jessica Carter from CarterMatt.com.
This video is our reaction to The Boys episode 7, the penultimate episode, otherwise known as the episode where everything falls apart.
Is this your favorite episode?
No, actually, it's not, but no, I've been saying that for like 3 episodes in a row, but no, this is not my favorite episode of The Boys. I still enjoyed it, don't get me wrong, I can't up the ante for myself every single time.
It was good, but it was real weird.
There were a lot of really weird moments in here. I mean, also the stakes are raised a little bit, and with an ending like that, I mean, how can they not be?
Yep.
Before we dive into it, though, if you like this video, give us a like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any other updates. So, Andy getting shot. I have so many opinions about this.
Yep.
I mean, the biggest one mostly being that I'm so mad at Huey right now. It's just like, this guy is a crazy person. Clearly, yes, he has an origin story. There's a reason he's turned out like this, but, you know, he's running around and shooting people and murdering.
Yeah, I was disappointed after everything that Huey and Annie have gone through.
Yeah.
That I kind of expected him in some ways to throw himself on top of her.
Yeah.
And to have it stopped. Like, Billy coming in and shooting up the place to save him from having to go to the cops and all this. Like, I felt like it was an opportunity for Huey to, yeah, he killed Translucent. Yes, she knows about it now. That he could still show that he's still a good person, that he's still there, and he's there for her, and that their relationship means something. It's possible it's just too late for that at this point. He's like, well, I better cut my losses and get out of here. But that side of Huey that was just kind of the guy who runs away from everything is kind of not really that strong. It feels like he's so far in the past now that was a little bit surprising to see him run off.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go as far as to
Billy
say...
didn't need to shoot her
No.
to get him out of a situation where he's going to be arrested. She wasn't threatening to kill him or doing anything bodily harm. Like, nothing was happening.
No, and it was totally a coward move on his part to do this. And I mean, it is a world where people are flawed, obviously, and you're not going to have characters do everything that you want. I think even before this happened, I was still kind of like, okay, Huey, just spit it all out, because you know going into this situation with Annie that Annie knows about some stuff now. You should have a plan of attack. You should go in there and be like, okay, yes, I did some of these things. This is why I did some of these things. I didn't know you were Starlight or anything when we first met. I developed feelings for you. I don't want to be a part of this anymore. Like, he could have done so much better to try, because I felt like that was in his heart before he went and met with her.
Yeah, I agree. I don't really know why he didn't really explain anything.
No.
He didn't explain anything. It was very strange. I know he was panicked, but he didn't end up actually going there with any kind of thought process of how he's going to deal with this.
And if you're someone like him, and you know that you're communicating with someone with superpowers, someone who could probably destroy you in the blink of an eye.
And someone you care about.
Yeah, like...
have something prepared.
Yeah.
Go there and pour your heart out. Explain what happened to your woman in a deeper way. That this thing happened with A-Train. That you got caught up in all of this stuff because you were grieving. Like, there's an understanding behind what happened with Translucent, but he didn't really get that deep into it. So I get why she was just like, all right, well, you murdered this person, so you're going in.
Yeah. And I mean, there's no guarantee it would have saved his relationship with Annie or anything like that, or there's no guarantee it would have even kept him from being arrested, but I think she would at the very least be more understanding, because I think Annie is a reasonable enough person, and she's also incurred some pretty traumatic events herself from this particular group, that I think she could sort of look at this situation and be like, okay, yeah, I understand it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the fact that it's Translucent and Huey's killing him and it's not A-Train, at that point, she still might be like, well, why are you taking it out on Translucent? Yeah, he's, has boundary issues, but he's all right. Like, because she said that earlier, he's not the worst person. He's got boundary issues. He's also got a kid and, that sort of thing. He's kind of as normal as you're going to be in this type of group.
It just, Huey, you mishandled this entirely. I don't know how he's going to be able to come back from it. But, the scene that I was, like, the most surprisingly emotional about was the scene with Huey and A-Train.
Me too.
I mean, I don't know. I'm still go back and forth in my head. Is A-Train manipulative at all in this moment? Because it didn't feel like it. Like, it felt like he was sort of... I don't think he really was willing to take enough responsibility for what happened to Robin, but, I mean, his point still being that, what I did to Robin was an accident, and then what happened to Popclaw, that was deliberate.
Yeah, this was the first time that I actually felt bad for A-Train and understood where he was coming from with it. And it's interesting because I wonder if A-Train had dealt with all of this in a different way from the get-go if Huey ever would have been here. And I know A-Train was on the Compound V and things were a little crazy for him and he was still living into his own hype and everything. And things feel like they've changed for A-Train now that Popclaw is gone. I know he saw that video of her with the landlord and all that, but he's still a guy who's now also grieving over losing someone he loves. It was a really good moment in this show because it's one of the few times that I'm siding with the superheroes a little bit.
Yeah, and that is rare, and I think we're seeing now with multiple members of the Seven, not even just A-Train and Annie, but like there are moments of humanity with some of these people, other than, of course, Homelander, who is just like a full-on sociopath. But, like, other than Homelander, there are moments where you look at these other characters and you're like, okay, you're not all this one thing. You're not just defined by that. Even if, we can still look at A-Train and be like, okay, this character is largely unlikable in that he does a lot of unlikable things, but there are reasons behind some of his actions. It's sort of like, we look at The Deep. I mean, The Deep did a horrific thing at the start of this season, and he's still an unlikable character, but there is more angles to him than I had previously thought.
Yeah, I agree. And seeing his downfall for what he's done, it's satisfying, but at the same time, he has these moments, like when he was trying to save the lobster.
Yeah.
And what was happening, that bizarre thing that was happening in the hotel room.
Yeah.
There are moments where I feel kind of weird about him because he is somebody who is inherently unlikable. He has done some really terrible things. He's made a lot of people feel even more uncomfortable than what was happening to him in that hotel room.
Yeah.
But at the same time, now he is starting to see some stuff from another side. Not only what was happening with the lobster, but what happened to him, that maybe he's gonna have a little bit more, I don't know, self-reflection after this. Probably not, because this is The Boys and this show is just kind of bonkers. It's not really the kind of show where people start to get some deep self-reflective moments and then come around. They're like, yeah, I need to change things around. But
well, we did see this though. His title for his memoir, Deeper. That was like, okay, how deep is it, the deep, if you're calling your memoir Deeper? But it's just a random funny moment in this craziness.
He's a really good character. Yeah. And while I understand why he's separated from the group right now, I do wish that he was back with the group, because there was a lot of these types of moments with this group that I liked with him. So maybe he'll come. Maybe they'll come around. He will have waited it out, and the storm will pass, and they'll bring him back.
Yeah, I think we have more to see from the Deep. I mean, it remains to be seen what we're gonna see from Annie. She's been shot a couple of times. I mean, I don't know about healing as one of her powers, but
no, but I mean, he shot her in like a park where there's a million people around, I'm sure someone's gonna see her and come and take care of stuff.
I think Annie will be okay.
I think she'll be fine.
I just don't know what's gonna happen to her, I guess, psychologically after all of this. That's another story.
This is where I feel it's all gonna fall apart for her, and she is just gonna be done. She said, "You were the only person, Huey, that I could trust." Now she's getting shot. Where's Huey? In the wind.
Running away.
Running away with that guy who just shot her.
Yeah.
So that relationship is done.
Yeah, I don't see how you come back from that at all. And, you know, in amidst all of this, we have all this backstory on Billy Butcher, and we kind of get to see more of the journey of him. And, you know, by the way, as someone who has been watching The Blacklist and covering it extensively, it's very unsettling to see Katerina Rostova show up as Mallory on this show.
I know, I saw her too. It was just like, what's happening? Yeah, it was a little unsettling.
Yeah, but I don't think that this is Mallory is not Katerina Rostova. I fully understand that. I'm not going to go down a Blacklist rabbit hole, but it was just you know, but this story, there is a lot of sadness here, obviously. You know, he loved his wife. He wanted to do everything he could to protect her. This happens with Homelander. He wants to get to the bottom of it. And, I mean, we do have answers. It's tragic answers, but we do have answers now.
Yeah, I mean, we learned that she was pregnant with this half sort of just human, half superhero, that this baby killed her, didn't make it.
Yeah.
And I guess she probably didn't know how to come back to Billy and really deal with it with him.
No.
So, but it seems she didn't want to lose her child, so she went through all of this and she lost herself and her child. And I don't know if Billy's going to find out the truth of what happened. I'm sure along the way he might, but I mean, it's going to break him when he finds that out as well.
It's going to be really hard. I think it's going to be hard for him to know what to do with himself still after the fact with that. I think he's still going to hold a lot of rage. I think all those things are still going to be central to this character, but I think him and the rest of the boys collectively, like, they all have a lot of things to think about right now. I mean, Mother's Milk, you know, my favorite guy on the boys, you have flown too close to the sun, my friend. You have lost your family now. All this seems to be going on. You've got, you know, the police have gotten involved, but how much can the police ultimately do because of what we learned with this terrorist with superhuman abilities?
Yeah, and we've learned that it seems that this company has been making supervillains, but maybe it seems like it.
Yeah.
Have they been making super terrorists as well? I mean, that is now a card that they can't really go back from. Watching that whole scene and seeing Madeline kind of be like, hey, is there something wrong? Wink, wink. Like, you can tell that she knows that something is happening. She's got to have her hand in that pie. She has her hands in all the pies. So this does raise the stakes to a point where CIA is unable to do anything at this point.
And it also, unfortunately, brings them to a position where you probably need superheroes to battle supervillains, and all of a sudden you need Vought. Even if you don't want Vought, you're kind of stuck with them. So what do you do in this situation? I mean, do you try to bring in Madeline, but then Madeline is like, you know, the metaphorical head of this group? Then are all the superheroes gonna scatter, or is Homelander gonna be like, well, I don't want to do anything now?
Yeah, I was kind of wondering if there was another way that CIA and government could go about this, because the 7 or the 6 or even now the 5, because the Deep is on, you know, sabbatical.
There's all these problems.
Yeah, there's so many other people out there that seem to also have these powers. And I know that they've all been manufactured, is what it seems to be.
Yeah.
But not all of them feel like they're under the protection of Madeline. We saw Popclaw was having difficulties and things were not going that well for her. Could CIA not go and grab some of these D-listers and get them to actually help, where she doesn't have to deal with Madeline? I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
other options.
Maybe you just put up a listing on Craigslist. Hey, we're looking for some D-list superheroes.
Go to the convention and pick one of them up.
Yeah, I don't know if Mesmer's going to be attending the convention anytime soon.
Probably not.
We probably cursed Mesmer from the moment we talked about wanting more Haley Joel Osment on the show.
He was doomed.
He was doomed.
No way.
No, he wasn't going to come back from that. But I mean, this episode existed mostly for giving us like these big moments we have been sort of just waiting for.
And there was a lot of backstory that we kind of needed to know. Seeing Homelander and that doctor, and the doctor not really looking for, any forgiveness, but more of just to kind of talk about his regrets. But Homelander learning that he had this kid and that the kid is gone, and that sort of storyline gives him even more of a reason for this to be now really personal for him against Billy.
Yeah,
even though this obviously has nothing to do with Billy.
Yeah, I think it's just added more fuel to his fire, and I think it's certainly clear that Billy has all of the fuel he ever needs. It's a pretty explosive finale, and I am legitimately upset that there's only one episode left of this.
I know.
Because it feels like I should have at least like 3 to sort of resolve this and deal with the aftermath.
This show went by like this.
Yeah.
It is such a good show. It is so easy to get just completely involved in and wrapped up in, and then you blink your eyes and we're at the last episode.
No, and now we're done. And, well, we'll be done soon, and then we have to wait for season 2, which... Not excited about that, but I am excited to check out the finale. And, of course, I'm excited to see what you guys have to say about episode 7 in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, why not give us a like, subscribe, and if you want to support us more, just check out that link in the description to the Carter Matt store, and we'll see you here next time.